Fishing! Oh, you're eating it posh with your finger up. Daddy will do that then. Right, I'm going to take you to nursery. And then I'm going to go to Packington. Have you been to Packington before? I'm going to catch some F1s, big F1s. Can you see F1?
Daddy, not eat your porridge.
Oh, I better eat my porridge then and stop gassing. Let's take you to nursery, and then we're going to go and fish the Rover at Packington, and there's 30 on it because it's the last hurrah today. No more fishing for a month. Yep. Me and you can go though, can't we? Yeah? Would you like to go fishing?
Daddy, eat your porridge.
Oh, I'll eat my porridge.
Oh, go on, let's see that moon, because the moon's out today and there's a big frost, isn't there? You can't see the moon now. We'll look outside and we'll find the moon. So, but I'm going to go fishing, you're going to go to nursery, and you're going to have a great time, aren't you? Yeah?
I'll just open the door.
Yeah, we'll open the door then.
Katie, where's the moon? Is it up there? Wow. Are you going to get your bag? Katie, you going to grab your bag? Oh, you're yawning.
moon.
Yeah, the moon. Come on then, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Is it a bit slippy? Right, let's take this stuff thing off. Wow, we're having a little pre-match walk around just to see where we want to fish. Now this is a promising peg. I don't know if you can see that. This is, you see the steam coming off the lake there. So it was ½ degree this morning, and it's about 4.5–5 degrees now. Very, very cold. It's going to be a very, very slow start wherever we go. But this is peg 6 on Anniversaries, and it's a possible peg to choose. It's a possible. A lot of options. There's going to be some fish about. If it's a low weight day, especially, a very good peg to potentially choose. So I thought I'd have a quick look. I've just seen a bubble. Maybe too many options. There's a guy pleasure fishing opposite on about peg 15, which was another peg I'd potentially earmarked. So I've just got myself a selfie stick as well. Believe it, with all my winnings, I've only got myself a daft selfie stick. So look, I can hold it right out there. Whee! Ent milk, brilliant. Ent F1's brilliant. Do you remember the Fast Show? No, it's probably lost on a lot of people, that link. So Ent Dobbin bread, brilliant. Eh? Never mind. Anyway, we're gonna have a little wander. So that's Anniversary. It's probably the only peg I want on there. There's potentially these pegs 1 and 2 there are options, well, peg 2. And then that's Big Gearys there, beautiful big lake. Where is it there? I think 70–80 would be best off that today. Very shallow, so it gets hit a bit quicker than all the other lakes. So we're gonna have a look at Little Gearys now. I think Little Gearys or Molands will win today. So we're going to have a little look on those. But they could be on siblings on the Little Snake Lake. I noticed Steve Ringer was doing a feature there yesterday. Let's have a look at Little Gearys. You alright, mate? Nice frosty start for you. Bit frosty. Have we? Well, we might be on here today. It's a Rover, so those pegs up there probably, but we'll see. 7. Oh, loads of mist coming off. Right, so this is Little Gearys. This is peg 8, which looks nice. Some colour. Definitely some colour. Very, very still, so nice and comfortable to fish. 8's an option. 9. I quite fancy 7, 8 or 9, but there's a guy on peg 6 pleasure fishing, so I would say peg 8 or peg 9. I'm just seeing if I can see any bubbles coming up. Can't see any. When there's been no wind, they generally live between 7 and 11. But when it's windy and it's blowing, they could be up that end. They could be the other side of the island. But generally, sort of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are reliable spots. So people will definitely be fighting for those pegs this morning. Might be me. I'm just debating whether to go on Little Gearys or Molands or peg 6 on onlys, I think. Right, there's a pleasure angler there on about 54 or 56. We're on Molands now, and I'm walking up to the famous Scarecrow Point. And the trees come down there. That's peg 48, which could be alright today. The sun's definitely hitting that bank more. The steam coming off over there. There's a guy on 41, 42, so 43. I won the lake off this peg. The last match I was here about just over a week ago, and had 96 pound of great big F1s. Had an arrival in the last 2 hours again. Caught really well down there. I cleared that margin out a little bit and I caught down there, a few over there, a few short, a few at 30 metres. But that looks reasonable. And but these pegs here are actually generally better. 44. Now all these pegs should be in. They tend to go every other peg other than Scarecrow Point. I think they can put every peg in on Scarecrow Point. Look at all that mist, beautiful. But that just doesn't bode well for F1 fishing really. They don't like sharp snaps in temperature. 45 is the actual point and it's a brilliant peg. It should be very good. Quite fancy. Don't think I've ever fished peg 45. And then 46, I won Saturday and Sunday here, over a week ago now, and I won with £123 off peg 46, which is this one, and you can see why it's a lovely peg. I'd definitely be top 5 choices today. Yeah, so I won the Saturday of £126 or £123, 120 something, and then the next day I won off 43 with £96. And on the Saturday I had my biggest ever F1 that I've weighed at £7 10 ounces. Yep, you heard that right, £7 10 ounces. So anyway, so that looks promising. If I get an early pick, then we can potentially choose one of those. We'll have to wait and see. You can see the frost on the ground. First proper frost of the year this, and the last match for a month. So there we are, let's have a walk back and we'll do the draw. We draw to draw to see who gets the first pick and the last pick. Be quite a long draw with 28 to 30 anglers fishing, and then we get to choose our pegs. But proper frost. It's going to be hard today. Not a massive weight, I don't think, but we'll have to wait and see what we get and what pick we get.
But everywhere else, Little Gearys and stuff, every other peg plays, alright?
Right, we are 20 minutes into the match now. 10, 15, no, 25 minutes into the match. Not the best of starts. I'm going to chuck a couple of dead magnets in a bit. A ground bait method. As you can see, it's really sunny. There's fish topping everywhere. I'm not seeing anyone tackling. I've had not the tides of starts. Right, that's a foot short of the island now. I've just had 4 chucks, and I think I've probably been chucking a little bit too tight to the island, so I've just come back a foot. I've had liners every chuck, but no fish. There's another one top there, another F1. Now we've had a mega frost this morning, so that's not going to bode well. It's going to be a slow start till they warm up. But there's fish topping everywhere, but no one's actually caught. Pete to my left has caught a nice big log, but I don't think you can weigh that in. But yeah, another one topping. A lot of them crashing, but they seem to be crashing at all distances as well. I was just in one top on Pete's sort of 7 metre line. He's actually fishing there, and he's still not had a bite. So it's kind of what I expected. It's a real rushed sort of livery start for me. I wasn't quite ready, so which is why I didn't get the start of this session filming. But basically, I really fancy it. I ended up choosing peg 8. There's a pleasure angler on peg 6, and I thought someone might go on peg 10, but actually Pete's gone on 11, and so 11, 13 and 15 are in, and there's one guy opposite. So there's only 4 anglers chosen Little Gearys plus the pleasure angler on this lake. I don't know if there's anyone up the top, I can't see up there. So, as I suspected, most people have gone for Molands today. So we'll have to see. That drop in temperature can really knock Molands on the head. So I had 5th pick, and I was umming and ahhing to go on Molands 43 or this peg 8 on Little Gearys. There's fish topping. It looks nice, and I reckon I'm going to catch some shark. I don't know if that's optimistic or not, but I just fancy with that ball in the sky and no clouds, and it's obviously clear and sunny. I just think they might come up, maybe catch them 3 foot deep in 6 foot of water. We'll have to see. But as far as tactics go, I've started on bomb and bread. I've had 2 or 3 big liners, no bites. I've swapped to a little tiny 20 gram into pellet feeder with a little 5mm washter, another liner, no fish. I've had 2 chucks on that, and this is my 2nd chuck on a little ground bait and dead maggot. Just a little bit of ground bait, some dead maggot. The liners have stopped, but I must say, like 30 seconds before the start, I saw a carp on the top. I saw a carp on the top, and I did have a little prospective sort of dob at it, but I put a maggot on, and I wish I'd put a bit of bread. I reckon I might have hooked it, but it just disappeared, and I've not seen him since. He was just sort of malving on some leaves at about 16 metres. So I had a quick look on that as well. But I fared. I've got a margin swim which is just under 3 foot to my right. I've also plumbed to my left. That's a big liner. It's not a fish. You have to pick up there. Great big liner. Oh yeah, sitting bow wave away, probably a metre back from where I've been chucking. So let's have one more chuck. We're not going to hit our clip. We're going to go much shorter. Just see. I could fish a maggot feeder. That's the other option that I'm contemplating. So we're going to chuck the bottom of that shelf, because that's where perfect. Didn't go in brilliant, but it was a perfect range. So probably 3 metres short of the far bank. So bottom of the slope. I think there's some fish there. Probably should have started there. I thought I'd start straight across in the shallower water, thinking the fish might be sunning themselves, and I always think that's the best chance of catching a carp, right tight across. A couple of people starting on waggler and stuff. No one's caught anything yet that I can see. So anyway, we just sink this line and we'll carry on explaining what we've done. I've basically got a section about 6 metres. I've gone that way out the way. I've plumbed up both left and right, but I've gone that way out the way. There's a 2 peg gap to my left and a 1 peg gap to my right, so I've just gone towards the 2 peg gap to my left. I've put 40-50 maggots in, and I'm just going to either throw or tightly catty. Too far. Just try and keep it nicely grouped there. Keep feeding that for a couple of hours. And I've probably put 40 maggots at 13 metres. I'm just going to ping some maggots over it, because I really fancy them coming off the deck today. And then I'm just going to throw 5 or 6 down here till I know what's down there. I half fancy catching down here. There's some colour in for this lake. Really surprised to see some colour in the lake. We've had a lot of rain though, and then we've had a massive mega frost, and the last 2 days have been really, really cold. So, but I half expect this to go round now. I'm going to give it 45 minutes on the tip, 40 to 45 minutes on the tip, and then I'm going to pick the pole up. They're already on the pole everywhere else, and no one's catching yet. So we'll just bide our time. There's a lot of silvers in this lake. Maybe 4mm pellet would have been a better starting option, but we're so confident with maggots at the moment. I've been catching a lot of fish on maggots everywhere. I've just won the Darwin Masters, the 3-day pole fishing Masters at Tunnel Barn with 3 section wins, and maggots were absolutely crucial and pellets were a bit rubbish. And then my last 2 matches here I won as well, both on maggots. So £96, £120 of great big, really big F1s, £3, £4, £5 a piece, some of them. And the biggest one was £7.10 on PBF1. So anyway, we'll give this another couple of minutes. There's definitely fish there. It's just whether I could have started on a waggler. Just umming and ahhing really. There's no bubbles, just an odd fish walloping around all over the lake, not just in front of me, although there has been enough fish in front of me to think, yeah, we're going to catch a few. I mean, the target could be £60, £70, could be £100 today if we can rep them up. Enough of fish tops. Now that's in the gap between me and Pete, so and that's where I've just seen the last two tops. So that's the problem. We've not so many anglers on the lake this time of year. There's a very good chance they'll back off. That's it now. We've settled down now. It's about 6.5 foot on the 13 to 14 metres, and it's 6 foot at 6 to 7 metres. It's a top kit in 3 sections basically, and then just under 3 foot down the right. So I've got 3 sort of swims earmarked. I've plumbed up a 4 foot swim just in case, but it's all rocky and gravelly and horrible, so I think we'll catch in the sort of 6 foot or 3 foot today. And this tip is just something to kick off on whilst I prime all my other swims really. I'm really disappointed I've not had a fish yet. But the pleasure angler started a good hour before all of us as well, and he's not caught anything either. A quick chuck on a maggot feeder now. There's definitely fish about. Quite violent bites on this if they want it. So I've come from bomb to a pellet feeder to a ground bait feeder to a maggot feeder in half an hour. I'm just not quite. The fact that we've had no one's catching just made me spot really fast. Just about to pick that up. Very little one. And there's the first fish, it's a little stocky. I've put the pole up already, it just doesn't feel. I should have gone round on something if there were a load of fish there feeding. Maggots. Hopefully we'll get a bite on this and it won't be a roach. Might be getting off me box in a minute and setting a waggler rod up. Especially if it's hard. Well, I thought I'd get a wobble on that, not so much as a wobble. Again, I might have been a bit giddy and fed it a bit too positive from the off. I know I have, looking at that, without so much as a roach or a skimmer bite. Fishing a 4x14, sort of reasonably strung out, 6 foot of water. 16 MXC 5, 011, don't think we need to drop to 010, but we've got that option. And then I'm fishing 10 to 12 slick through a long kit. A lot of water in front of me, so a long kit just gives me a little bit more scope, especially if I hook anything monstrous. And even the F1s are big, well, the target ones. Absolutely gobsmacked that's not gone under. Not the start I was expecting, to be honest. I just expect to go bang bang bang, 2 or 3 early fish, then work at it, then it will just get work better and better and better towards the last hour. Don't stay on this for too long, but we're just going to keep priming it. Just let it drop. Fed that margin really lightly to begin with. Just sort of 3 to 6 maggots. They may or may not come down there, but if they do, it could be brilliant. 3 maggots. Keep the perch fed even if the F1s ain't there yet. Starting to think I chose the wrong lake. Skimmer. I've just tried single maggot just to see if I could get a bite. A little skimmer. That's it. He's had 2 down the edge opposite, so it's worth keeping an eye on as well. Definitely just backed off away from all the anglers and all the activity. I fed my right margin from the north. I've just literally tapped in 8 maggots to my left just to see if there's anything. There's the furthest I can go because there's a big tree in the way. So far so rubbish, nothing's happening. Really look down the edge, you never know, there might be a little pool, especially because he's caught 2 down the edge opposite. But Pete's been looking down his edge as well early, nothing. I think I need to go back on that tip. Well, we're a good 2 hours in, and I've tried everything now. 2 or 3 little skimmers and a perch on the long pole, not a bite shorter down the edge. 1 tiny stocky on a maggot feeder and a few liners, and everything else I've chucked out over there. Great, there's an odd great big carp going around the peg, obviously upsetting everything else. But at the moment I'm at a loss what to do. I'm going to plumb up a 16 metre swim, just tap in some maggots and just see if they just don't want to come in properly yet. Just negatively tap in sort of 8 to 10 maggots. Sit on that with double maggot, and then I'm going to chuck bomb and bread around the peg again. But the wind's got up now as well, so I mean hopefully I'll give them a bit of confidence to feed, but at the moment I'm feeling like I've chosen the wrong lake, and I would think 2 nice F1s is winning the lake at the moment, which is pretty poor, but a nice arrival. We can catch 60-70 pound, but at the moment they just definitely don't want to feed. What's a bite? It's a bit silverfishy. The thing is, I've had liners on the tip, but no proper bites. I might just stay on this another 2 or 3 minutes. When they arrive, it should be bang, 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 you know. Might be able to do a quick £10. But with a target weight of £70, it's not very promising at the moment, but anything can happen. I think normally, if you're not getting F1s, you normally get a load of little roach and skimmers, and I'm not even getting that, so it's not as if I can keep feeding. If nothing's there, I'm just going to build up loads and loads and loads of bait, and so that's not good either. At least if I was getting little roach and that, I could just continue to feed and feed and feed. But because I'm not getting anything, just a very, very odd fish, I'm a bit at a loss what to do at the moment. Big old one.
past me 13 metre swim. Nothing at 16. I'm only going to stop here again.
Wow. I like it for one only saw it. Oh, it's like a block of ice. Playing something big opposite. Standing up on his pole. Loads of elastic out.
To 16. I think Pete's just done exactly the same thing next door. I've been waiting 2 3/4 hours. Just seeing a little bit of colour, that's all. Fish in this lake. Everyone's don't feed. I think I won a match last year with about 11 fish for £90. You've been waiting that long for a fish. You really don't want to lose it. Wish I'd put a stronger hook length on. As soon as I get this in, put a stronger one on. Oh my god, it does not want to come off. Actually just in the float, so we're making progress. As I just pulled out of it, I've not put a stronger hook length on. I've just kept with the same one, and I've gone in third cast and hooked another one. It must have been foul hooked to pull out that fish. In fact, I never got into the top or anything. Sounds me. Big one. However big this is, the other one I lost was twice the size, and this looks at least £6. Big one, the only just fit in the line. Yeah, whatever I lost was bigger than that's £10 all day long. That's £10 all day long.
Only £8 this one. Oh no, he's bigger. Well, no wonder the F1s ain't feeding if they're about. Whew. Well, this is where we're at. We've got an hour and 10 minutes to go, and up to now the pole's still been absolutely rubbish. 2 little F1s and a few skimmers, and no one's catching on the pole. Should have an arrival now, so I'm going to have a quick look again. I've just chucked bomb and bread just to see what's what, but I've had 3 commons on the waggler and I've lost one, and those 2 of them are £10 all day long, and one of them's about 3 or 4. There was a little ball of F1s sort of 5-6 metres to my left, about 20 metres out, and I've chucked a waggler over that, missed a couple of bites, chucked a bomb over it, and now they've gone. You could see all the bubbles there, just giving the game away. But the carp seem to be in a little corner by this reed bed, but again they seem to have gone now. I'm not seeing any signs of fish now, or any liners or anything chucking the bomb there. I've chucked waggler and waggler and waggler, and so I've had 3 and lost one, and gutted I pulled out of that one. That was massive. That was £10 as well. Big angry commons. It's just unlucky just to pull out of it really. So I'm going to have one more chuck on a waggler, I think, and then we'll get on the pole, and hopefully we'll have a bit of an arrival. But I don't think I'm going to win the match or anything. I might be able to win the lake, not that there's any prizes for that. But yeah, really frustrating, weird old day. Just a few fish chucking around with a waggler and not a lot else.
Just missed the bite down the edge. Come on F1s, they have just not wanted the feed at all today. That's down the negative edge, the edge I've not fed a great deal. Just wrap round him. Came up. They're the ones we should be catching. £60 limit, 3 nets in, and see what there's any danger of going over the net limit today. 4 hours they have not wanted a feed. No. So I think we've been on the wrong lake today, unfortunately. Well, that is my last fish before lockdown. Lovely F1. They've not been very obliging today. But we've had a few bites, and it's the last match of the lot. There you go.
Well, it's nice to show you a match where things don't actually go to plan. I'm going to hold my hands up and say I fished that completely wrong on the day. I don't mind saying right from the outset, really, I had a very good pick. I was 5th pick. Peg 43 on Molands was still in the bag. And I ummed and ahed between 8 on Little Gearys, which is what I went on, or 43 on Molands. And considering I've just won the last 2, well, I've won the lake twice on Molands on my last 2 visits. one off 43 and one off 46. I thought, well, why haven't I chosen those pegs? But I thought I'd be a bit clever, go on Little Gearys, try and catch an even bigger weight, which was daft really. And lo and behold, John Birch won the match off peg 43 on Molands with £90. So well done, John. I'm sure he's fished a good match there. It's not fish brilliant, but the top three's come off Molands. I say John's won it with £90 and a few ounces. And then fourth place came off Big Gearys, which was £67. I think that was off peg 13. And then the best weight off my lake, off Little Gearys, was Neville Groves, who was the angler opposite all by himself. I didn't realise it was Neville. Very, very good angler there anyway. So, but he's had £58. That's won our lake. Looking back, could I have had that? Definitely. Could I have had £90? Not really. Not the way it's fished. If it fished well, then yeah, definitely. I think Little Gearys is the best lake for when it's fishing well, because you can really rev those F1s up, but they did not want to feed on the day. Got my match completely wrong, really. It was only when I got off my backside and set my waggler rod up that I realised I've made a clanger, really, because when it's flat calm, waggler does come into play a lot more. And I should have definitely spent the first 2 hours swapping between bomb and bread and a waggler. They just didn't want to feed. I don't think feeding anything over there made any difference. Well, it clearly didn't. I had one tiny little F1 on a maggot feeder and no other signs other than liners really on anything else. Just chucking like 2 or 3 maggots on a waggler, waggler and bread or something like that would have worked, and a bomb and bread, just casting around a little bit more than what I did. Obviously you didn't see all my casts, but I tried several parts of my peg, and nothing really happened of it really. But yeah, I should have persevered a lot more on that feeder. I was so confident I was going to catch on the long pole, because that's where I've always done my weights, on the long pole there. And they just weren't there. There was definitely a ball of fish. I definitely saw them about 20 metres out, sort of diagonally to my left, in front of the next peg really. You could see bubbles and balls, and I've chucked my waggler there, missed a couple of bites there, and I've chucked a bomb there, and that seems to disperse the shoal a little bit and unsettle them. But those fish, I thought, well, they're going to break up in a minute and come short and actually have a feed, and they never did. And it must be those 2 rock hard frosts. I mean, it's white over in the morning. We hadn't had anything that's hard as that for a long, long time. So that really knocked the fish for 6, I think. So taking some positives out of it, I thoroughly enjoyed catching those fish on the waggler. The air went a bit blue when I lost that first one, but then I caught 2 absolutely stonking great big 10-pound commons, and then a smaller one after that. So those 3 fish, I just thoroughly enjoyed catching those, and I'd love to go back and just fish a waggler and see if I can catch a few more now. So that's the most positive about it. I think I only showed 2 down the edge, but I think I caught 4, maybe 5 down the edge in the last hour. But there were just no numbers of fish. You could just tell, wait, and then you'd hook one. I think I fouled up one as well, but they just weren't settled down the sides. And nothing on the short pole. I quickly sacked that off. It's not always great, that short pole line at Packington anyway, on Little Gearys. And the long pole, at the start I said, I might catch shallower off the deck, and well, that was wishful thinking, because there was 2 little F1s and a few little skimmers, and that's all I mustered there. So but their fish were all across. I should have started a good metre back from the far bank, and with bomb and bread or a waggler, and then work my way tighter. I think I started too tight, too quickly, and I panicked too quickly and started feeding bait over there as well, really. So yeah, if I'd have just fished a waggler and bomb and bread for 2 hours at least, and just, no one was catching on the pole around me, so I didn't need to come off it really. I thought I knew better, and obviously I didn't. But I'd had a great run of fishing, and I'd had 8 or 9 pickups on the bounce, and I was riding high and all confident and everything. And but it's nice to be brought back down to earth when I know I didn't get it quite. But that's what keeps us going back. But now I've got a whole month to mill over it and think where I've gone wrong and everything, because we're still in lockdown. This is lockdown 2.0, and no match fishing for a little bit, but I can do all other sorts of fishing and get all my rigs and prep and all my garage tidied and everything. So that's all I've got to look forward to today. So hopefully I've given you a bit of enjoyment watching an angler get it a little bit wrong, and help you pass the time away whilst you're in lockdown too. So but Anyway, fingers crossed, we'll be back match fishing in December.